What's up, fish tank people? Dustin's Fish Tanks bringing it to you on a Sunday, baby. How's everybody doing? I hope you're doing well. In today's video, we got a whole lot of greenhouse expansion to show you, but if you want to skip ahead to some plant action, you can click to this minute mark right around here, and we'll get right into it, talking about some fun stuff. We're going to kick it. How are we going to kick it? We're going to kick it root down. We've also got a couple species to show you. In the words of Jizza Genius, it's the next chamber. It's a whole different sound. It's a wide entrance. Small exit like a funnel. Only we don't got a small exit. We got a big old entrance into a new greenhouse. Eric and his crew showed up today, Kentucky-based crew. Look at this. Used to be a wall. Now it's for all y'all. 2.0, 4.0. 2.0, 4.0. So he already know what he was doing. He came in here. We had to raise the final floor height, so they're lifting the frame up of that. I don't even need to talk about it. These dudes just know what they're doing. So they ball that up there. Got the final wall coming up here, and we were just talking about it. It worked out well because we couldn't use this space in the wintertime. We didn't want to have this open because it would be too cold in there. So we had that all sealed off. And then now it's summer, so now this can all be open and everything will be good. So we got the roof open, that open. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now this is actually like workable space, and I can start bringing stuff that's, for lack of a better way of saying it, dead money out there in here. He asked me what I'm gonna do with my mess. That's actually a lot of really good metal. I'm gonna run that metal up above as cross supports for in the wintertime when I need to supplement the light. So this is fun. So now, this is a 75% increase in capacity right here, 75%. So we're gonna get this rolling. And yeah, I'm excited. These gotta come out. This is the original. This is actually these long posts right here. These are the original pillars for that building, but they were too short. So they were gonna try to charge me to take them back. I said, to hell with that. And I kept them and used them. Well, now I'm gonna cut that one there because it's already cut on the other side, get all these 20s out of here and roll. But now, interesting plant note, I gotta worry about the sun because this was more shaded with the wall. Now I'm gonna have more sun on an already basin that gets a ridiculous amount of sun. So sunshine is gonna be hardcore in here. So now I gotta figure out, well, really it's just the move-in process, but I am excited about the way this is going. Walked in this morning and Eric and his crew are here. So while Eric and his crew are gone, I'm going to show you the game plan here. The temperature in here has gotten significantly higher because that is open and that is just a giant heat sink. I knew this day was coming. That will be a good thing in the winter, but in the summertime, it is a new variable. Not afraid of heat, just gotta figure out how to handle it. You don't want temperature swings. I run shallow basins. You just gotta get temperature under control. So here's what we're gonna do for it. So I've got the temperature situation. It's all about shade cloths. I talked about it last week. I'm talking about it now. Shade cloths reduce the light. This is the Holy Mother of God sun. Today, this is being shot on the 15th. This is a couple days. The solstice is the 21st. That's the longest day of the year. So I'm in sprint mode to plant plants, but regardless, I gotta get this shaded out because it's just way too hot. Will be a benefit in the winter, like I said. So I've got 24-foot shade cloths. I know you're all excited about shade cloths, but it's part of, I gotta catch that butterfly and feed it to my chameleon. But these are getting dried out. And then right at high noon, Dusty's gonna hang shade cloths the hottest part of the day because I'm an idiot. So the original plan was 24 feet across there by 12, basically hanging a shade cloth up there. But because it's been so hot and because I don't want to get too much light and too much algae on this basin, I'm actually going to hang a 24 by 12 here all the way to there, which will make moving all this easier. Everybody will be out of the sun, yada yada yada. So that's the game plan there, is I'll hang that one. I've got another 12 by 12, haven't really decided yet, might put it over there. Would give us a little more shade, not sure, but it's going to be operation pull that table out. This basin's going to get cut, like I said. Really moving pretty quickly right now. I'm pretty excited the diminishing returns of working in a hot greenhouse later in the day are bad. So tomorrow morning, I'll be getting these wet, and that'll give us all kinds of space. And I'm in the middle of potting a bunch of plants too, and they're gonna get their own little basins to go in. So these are all gonna get hooked up. Throwing stuff in while the panel's getting put together today, but these guys are knocking it out. Super excited. But it's Sunday, it's Spigot Species Sunday. How you gonna kick it? Gonna kick it root down, gonna break it all down, gonna kick it root down. It's not a put down, I put my foot down. And then I'm making some love, I put my root down. We're gonna talk about roots of aquarium plants today, but I gotta bring it to you in a little bit different animal. I'm gonna tie this back into everything I'm doing with the greenhouse. We're potting our own plants now, super jacked about it. How am I gonna grow my plants the fastest? I'll look it up. I'm like, yo, I'm potting these plants. What should I put in the roots? Obviously, you can't just do a pot full of dirt. It won't work, so you gotta like figure out a way to make it work. So I'm like, what can I look up? How can I figure this out? And in my quest to learn more about roots, I came across a Latin term, mycorrhiza. This is the pronunciation of it. And butchering what it is, how to say it. Mycorrhiza, I think that's how you say it. Here's how you type it out. But what it is really a fun thing for me. It is the symbiotic relationship that certain fungus have at the tips of the roots of plants that help them grow better. The fungus grows, and the fungus makes nutrient absorption easier to the roots. It's like a secondary step between like minerals here, fungus here, helping break it down and make it more digestible to the root, okay? Super fun, super topic. I like the thought of this for me as like an analogy would be, you take your gut flora, like the good bacteria, bad bacteria in your belly, the good bacteria in your gut or whatever. Like if you're like me and you eat a lot of vegetables all the time, you have a good gut flora in your belly, and that makes it easier to digest all of the other food that you have. In the same kind of deal with plants. They have this, so you know where this is going. Back to the root uptake, back to kicking it root down with dirt in your tank. But I had to look it up, and here's what I came up with. I'm going to read this from the Grandmaster, Mr. Tom Barr. Critical factors in determining rate of uptake in minerals by plants include, number 1, availability of mineral. The mineral must be available in a form that can be absorbed by the root. This is determined by the plant's roots to some degree reduction in the sediment. Number 2, concentration in the soil. The higher the concentration, the greater the likelihood of the uptake. The more iron you got in your soil, the better off the chance you got to get it to being absorbed. The rate of mass flow of the soil. This is interesting here. This is the supply of the minerals to the root determined by the movement of minerals in the solution. So obviously a little bit of water flowing in nature that will actually be enough to move root. That will be enough. A little bit of water flow in nature is enough to move nutrients around at the root. And then this is fun. 4, the rate of root elongation. The root tip grows into the soil containing fresh supplies of the mineral. And then number 5, so the root grows down, kick your root down. Number 5, surface area of the root. The larger the contact area available for potential uptake, the greater the uptake. Number 6, this is fun. Mycorrhizal associations increase the effective area by up to 10x. In other words, if you have a big fungal area that can be undisturbed, and that will help increase the surface area, which is important in the root uptake. Shout out to Tom Barr for that. I thought that was fun. You know I run dirt in my tank, so I had to share that with you all. And if you like this type of content, make sure you hit that subscribe button, the notification button, and we'll get you more of it. So I want to show some of these plants that we have been potting in-house. So I'm super thrilled at the product that we're putting out. And it's not even ready yet, but like this is some dwarf hair grass that's coming on, super fire. These were only planted last week. It is grow season, so you know results may vary with how much duration of light you have. But notice in the center there is root growth coming on. But this is more fun to me right here. This is a Val Nana right here. This is Vallisneria Nana, thin Val. Look at the pull off on that. See how that's just coming everywhere? That's one right there, super fly. But if I pull this tray out, they're essentially all doing this. So I'll give you an example right here. Runners in the center there, nice roots. This plant melts back incredibly quickly and then has been coming back. The root growth, you can see the connection between these two plants here. Just really a lot of fun for us. Look at how that's going off of there. They're all just running everywhere. So they're potted, which is great and easy to, you know, sell and distribute and all that. But the runner growth gets me super excited for just potting a basin of them, much like I have the basins outside. So this is Vallisneria nana, very thin, you know, grows just like a val, melt back real hard, come back stronger. But this is a whole just mess of a tray that has good roots, and they're all just kind of growing on each top of each other. So check out how it's just, you can't even like get them apart. So that is a lot of fun, kicking it root down. I want to show you some above water growth stuff real quick. So down here is particularly fun. We're going to talk about that plant, but we're going to talk about this one first. This is Omnophila aromatica. This is a much harder to keep plant, but it gives the purple hue to it. So I don't know if you can see the purple coming off of that, but this is a really, really fun plant that, yeah, it's a little more advanced for sure, but it likes the full sun. Here's a good example of its backside there. See the underside purple on that? So we've got that going on. But I gotta talk about one of the few big nice stem plants from Africa. I wanna talk about Amania gracilis today. Amania gracilis comes from Africa. Most of it, you know, Africa's got like the bulbitis, the anubias, the red tiger lotus, but you don't see a lot of just hardcore stems. But I want to show this plant. Look at how it's growing above the waterline. Now, look at this plant here. Look at the height difference on that bad boy right there. Once it hit the surface, it was easier to breathe, live, get full sun, the whole deal. I'll show that, and then I'll show one that hasn't hit the surface yet. There is a dramatic difference in the size of these two right here. So there's one, and then once that hit the surface, boom, it like took off. I'll show it to you like that. There you go. I'll show the big difference in the two. So once it hit the surface, it went buck wild, buck crazy, and it's gonna prefer to grow that way above water. And we actually want to get rid of it before it does that, because then it's just going to convert and not be as easy in your tank. But yeah, a lot of fun. Hit the surface, grew like crazy, aerial advantage, readily available CO2, unlike underwater where it's much harder to breathe. So there's a little Amania for you. And it hasn't happened yet, but this water wisteria right here is going to hit the surface real soon and completely look different. And notice that sweet shot of the that's my Anubias gigantea coming out of the water there too. I want to give you guys a big tip on how to grow plants. And the biggest thing you can do to grow plants is to just sit and stare at them. And I would spend a lot of time sitting and staring at these if I could. They're growing like crazy. How do you grow them? Well, this is Dwarf Sagittaria sublata. This is the right variety too. There are some varieties that grow taller. This is the short version that I want. And I talk about this all the time. I'm extremely excited about it. I'm 7 days away from the solstice, so I've got max grow. I've got my passive CO2 going over there. We'll come back to the center here. And I got these that just came out yesterday or today, the flowering sag coming off. And I'm lowering the water level, but if you look real close, you can see the little, like, it looks like a bubble coming out in the center of all those. So I am just super excited about that. And then it's becoming exponential. I could have planted more. I probably should have planted more. I'm going straight down. But you see this kind of thing, this kind of thing, this kind of thing. That's the plant sending off runners. And I love being able to see it. So we're very excited about the dwarf sag. And it's going to be living like this its whole life inside. So I'm curious how it will do in the winter. But now that we have the space to grow it out, this is going to be a forever production thing. So I'm really excited about the way it's taken off. super easy plant you can grow in your filter and up out of the tank, but it likes to stay wet. Hydrocotyl lucifolia. We used to hate this plant because we'd import it, but now we've got it. We'd import it and it would melt like crazy, but man, this stuff is rocking here. It's also going above the water, but it's got these real dense, smaller leaves on it because I think of the light intensity. So it came to us with these big guys, but this is just one random stem. So it's not rooted yet, but it kind of sends off all this stuff. Generally speaking, if a plant sends off roots like this along its stem, it's probably a little easier to keep. This would fit the role there. So this is Hydrocotyl lucifolia, just looking real strong. Pennywort is the name they call it. Kids on the street call it pennywort. Very fun. Very easy plant. Some real quick fun action with an overcast day. Whole lot of plants there, and then that basin coming out, going into that. Oh. Love that. Wow. Got more work to do out here in the heat. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Everybody making an awesome freaking week. Stay tuned for updates and tank on. Later.